Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel. Today, I'd like to share with you a reflection from Bear Grylls from his book Soul Fuel. So, sit down and relax and have a listen. In the summer of 1996, I spent a month helping out on a game farm in the northern Transvaal in South Africa, advising on how to keep poachers at bay. I decided to head north to Zimbabwe for some fun before heading home to the UK. For me, back then, fun meant skydiving with good friends, with cool drinks in the evening. Life was all good. The flight to 15,000 feet was uneventful. Soon I stood in the cargo area of the plane and looked down. I took a familiar deep breath, then slid off the step. The clouds felt damp on my face as I fell through them. How I loved that feeling of falling through whiteout. At 4,000 feet, I pulled the ripcord and heard the canopy open with a reassuring crack. My 130-mile-per-hour free fall quickly slowed down to 25 miles per hour, just as it always did. But when I looked up, I realized something was wrong, very wrong. Instead of a smooth, rectangular shape above me, I had a very deformed-looking tangle of chute, which meant the whole parachute would be a nightmare to try to control. I pulled hard on both steering toggles to see if that would help me. It didn't. I kept trying to control it, but I was burning through time and altitude fast. It wasn't getting any better. Within seconds, I was too low to use my reserve chute, and the ground was coming up fast. I flared the chute too high and too hard. This jerked my body up horizontally, then I dropped away and smashed into the desert floor, landing on my back right on top of the tightly packed reserve chute that formed a rock-hard square shape in the middle of the pack. I couldn't stand up. I could only roll over and moan on the dusty earth. I was biting the ground in agony. I didn't know the extent of the damage at the time, that I had shattered 3 key vertebrae in my back, and would go on to spend months in and out of military rehabilitation back in the UK, strapped into braces and unable to move freely. But in those first few minutes as I lay there, one thing I did know was that my life had just changed forever. Sometimes it isn't until we get knocked down that we find which way is up. Sometimes it isn't until the sky clouds over that we notice the light. And sometimes it isn't until we lie in the gutter that we begin to see the stars. The light of God has been the greatest source of hope this world has ever known. We can never be so far away that the light won't reach us. Sometimes it is good to be reminded of that. Hope will always win, and the light of Christ reaches everywhere. I don't know about you, but I find that to be a really powerful, powerful story. I've never had an example like that. I mean, I've never skydived or anything like that. But I certainly have had moments in my life when I realized that I'm flat on my back and there's nothing I can do. I cannot save myself. And the world around me looks pretty dim. Sometimes when I find myself in that position though, I realize that I may not be able to move. I may feel paralyzed by all of the things that are happening. The world is moving around me, the decisions that need to be made, and I feel helpless. But often what I realize also is I've got my eyes screwed shut. I need to open them. I need to open them so I can see the light. I can see the sky above me, the people around me, the people, the resources, the opportunities that are happening. There is no promise in life that things are going to be easy all the time. Some people seem to have it that way, and chances are if we actually talk to them and had them tell us the real truth, they would say they've got their challenges as well. But there is nothing in the world that tells us that everything will be hunky-dory all the time. But we do have the truth that God loves us and that we are never alone. And if we can accept that truth, if we can really focus on that and open our eyes that we might see the love of God around us, we'll begin to recognize that whatever situation we find ourselves in, it may not be a great situation. It might be an absolutely horrible, worst ever in your life kind of situation. But it's not the end of the world. It is still an opportunity to grow and to learn. It's still an opportunity to discover things that we can help others with. And now, I mean, that sounds pretty callous when things are going badly. That, why should I have to figure out how to learn something I can teach somebody else from this horrible situation? But the truth is that other people will come along to help you. And the reason they can help you is because they've been where you are. They've been through difficult times and someone else helped them. And they've learned lessons from what they went through so that they too can help you and help others. When we find ourselves flat on the back like that, our backs like that, when we're in pain, when we don't know what to do, when everything has gone haywire, we really do need to take a deep breath and say, okay, how do we get out of this? I don't know about you, but it feels kind of like that in the world right now, that we're in a big mess and it feels overwhelming and it makes me angry and I don't know how to pray about it and I certainly don't know how to fix it. But I do know, and I have learned over the years, that getting mad or having a temper tantrum or just laying there saying I can't move and I can't do anything about it does exactly that. It means I do nothing about it. But when I try to wiggle my fingers or at least open my eyes and see the light, to call out, to reach out to someone else, to allow someone else to reach out to me, that's when hope begins. And when hope begins, that's when life changes. Our world may not be what we want it to be right now, but it never will be if we don't work toward changing it. We have to be the ones to make the effort to meet God in the journey, to meet God in the middle of the work. That means whatever we're facing, whether it's physical ailments or mental ailments or spiritual ailments or the world around us, our workplaces, our play places, our governments, whatever it might be, we don't have the time to simply say, I quit. We have to pick ourselves up and try and let other people help us get up and learn from what others teach us and then learn what we can teach others. Because if you know anything about Bear Grylls, the guy who wrote that story, nothing quit, nothing stopped him. He still roams the world, jumping out of airplanes, teaching other people from the lessons that he learned. What brought him down and took him down for months trained him how to become stronger so that it wouldn't happen again. And that's exactly what we need to do right here and right now. We need to regroup, open our eyes so we can see the light and say, okay, God, what am I to learn? And how am I to participate in changing the world? We can do it. We can do it. The question is, will we? I don't think we have much choice. Let's just get out there and do it. Have a great day. God bless. I'll see you again for Church at Home with Rachel.